Hi, it's Debilyn Molineaux, and today we're doing something different on Terrified Nation. You see, this conversation you're going to hear wasn't recorded as a podcast. It was a real life interview and coaching dialogue with my friend Steph Stern. And she had offered to provide me with a gentle, present tense visioning session about my own Jedi future, where I live with justice, equity, dignity, and inclusion as a way of life. And so you'll hear us slow down, and there are pauses and a few life details like dogs and garden dreams and even wedding plans. And there's also a lot of honest naming and claiming. So we're going to time travel to 2035, where I try on a future that feels both grounded and expansive. I have a neighborly community, I have dignified care, there's everyday belonging, and a daily rhythm for myself that makes loving awareness more than just a phrase. And why would I share this? Well, because many of you tell me that you're also hungry for models and not just speeches. And so this is one way to demonstrate how we can all practice the future that we want to build together. So a quick heads up, there are a few moments of pauses and deep breathing. So if you're listening while you're driving, please keep your eyes open and your attention on the road and just breathe along in your own way. All right, let's step into the Zoom time machine with Steph after the intro.
If you've ever felt fear, doubt, or despair about the future of our country, you're not alone. Terrified Nation is a podcast for those ready to face hard truths with open hearts. Hosted by Debilyn Molineaux, each episode explores how we can move beyond division and build a society rooted in care, courage, and connection. If this resonates with you, hit follow and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Now here's your host, Debilyn Molineaux.
Debilyn, if I just ask you, you get to dream and you get to have desire and wants in this conversation. What comes up for you? Are there any fears or concerns or any resistance?
I think the only fear I have is maybe saying my dreams out loud,
Yeah,
making them more real.
yeah. How does it feel to name that fear?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a little ironic. I often, as I'm interviewing others to do this visioning for themselves, I tell them to name it and claim it.
Yeah.
And not fall into what they think is possible or likely,
Right.
But really name it and claim it.
Yeah.
So now I get to do it too.
I know. How does it feel to take your own advice?
Ironic.
I know. I feel the same way. Yeah. Okay. And the warm-up question is, how far in the future would you like to imagine? Do you have a time frame in mind?
I am thinking about 10 years.
Okay.
So in 10 years, I'll be 71, which is like, that's a whole other thing. But hopefully,
I didn't even know you were 61 now. You seem wise enough to be 61, but also extremely youthful to me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So in 10 years, I'll be 71.
71, 2035.
Yep.
Let's go in the Zoom time machine, Debilyn. We'll go to 2035 together. And you will be 71. And I'm curious if is there a moment that helps you anchor on that? Is it your 71st birthday, your 10-year anniversary with Sam, a typical day going to work?
I think it's just it's long enough in the future that I expect I'll still have full physical health.
Yeah.
Whereas 20 years feels like a little more dicey, right?
Yep.
And so that's really what it's about. It's like, do I still have all my faculties and can I still get around and manage my own life?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And so in this Zoom time machine, where do we land? Where are you in this future? Where do you live? Anything you know about when the time machine
as we
opens?
kind of step out of the Zoom time machine, we're in the Pacific Northwest, which is where my heart is. One of the things I love about living in the Pacific Northwest is how the air smells. When I left there in 2019 and now I'm arriving in 2035 or sometime before 2035, the air still smells like the forest, no matter where I am.
Yeah.
Right. I love that, especially anywhere between like the coast and the coastal range and the I-95 or the I-5. I'm on 95 here in Maryland, on the I-5 corridor. That whole area, that corridor just smells
Mm-hmm.
like forest, and I want to be there.
Mm. Do you have anything you imagine about the type of place you live in? Like how rural is it? Is it in a town? Is it a
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I want to live kind of in that edgy part between suburban and rural.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to have, 5, 10, 20 acres, only if there's a lot of help to maintain it, by the way. Um, but somewhere that's like, no more than 30 minutes to get to a grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
but still out of the way of the hustle and bustle,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't want to be
Yeah.
like having
Not so isolated.
neighbors really close, but I like the convenience of having, shopping centers and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So somewhere in that area of Oregon on the suburban rural fringe.
Yeah. Okay. And I assume you're living with Sam. Is
I
that right? Or who else is it? Like who's in your home?
Yeah. So let's see, 10 years from now, um, we'll probably not have the same pets we have now, but we will have pets. I don't imagine a time in our life when we don't have dogs, at least one, maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
And the cats that we have now may still be around if they're very long lived, because they're 11 right now. So that, they're kind of stretching it maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I imagine us on a, piece of property and having a really nice garden
Mm-hmm.
and a ranch style home that's real easy to maintain. There may or may not be another kind of helper person or two around
Mm-hmm.
because with property comes maintenance. And um, one of the things that I loved about living in an apartment was that I just had to call somebody and say, fix it. And so this whole idea of like going out to a farm and having to be a little bit more self-sufficient
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit scary, but I know it's as long as there's community around, that things will get taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. So in my in naming it and claiming it,
Yes.
tell on
Yes.
myself, in naming it and claiming it, we actually have maybe two houses on the property. One
Mm-hmm.
that's for me and Sam and the dogs, and another one that's for the helpers.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's a little sense of community within our property, but not too many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. Anything else that comes up thinking about the sense of place?
So I've talked about the garden because I'm experimenting now with trying to figure out how to grow food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very good at it today. But also, let's see, what else is there? I think there's a really a strong sense of neighborliness, if you will, with the, even while we're on, larger 5+ acre lots, there's still other people in the vicinity that also have these larger lots. And
Mm-hmm.
we have a strong sense of community with where we are together.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and kind of we have each other's back
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah. You don't have to answer this, but do you just have an immediate sense of did you move into the community or did you create it?
I think it could go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the capacity to create it if it doesn't already exist.
Yeah. I don't know why that was coming up for me of like, oh,
Yeah,
there's some intentional gathering of like, oh, and maybe it's both of like, oh, this
right.
there's something here and I could bring
Yeah,
some people.
I'm reminded of how like I just got on the text thread for the dog park community now because where I take the dogs to the dog park, there's
Yeah.
a regular crew that shows up and they have a text thread that tells people like who's showing up when and what type of
Mhm.
dog entertainment there will be, kind of thing. And so and at the same time, I have also in neighborhoods created that community,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think it's
Yeah.
whichever happens.
Right. Right. Okay. Um, and as you see your older self living this preferred life, what do you feel most proud of?
I think what I feel most proud of are going to be a lot of my work accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and having done by then, 20 years today, if I'm still doing it, then 30 years of work experience
Mm-hmm.
in advocating for citizens to reclaim their power, but also connect heart to heart with each other.
Mm.
So there's I think what I'll be most proud of is seeing that work through to the at least early stages of repair for democracy in our nation. So I think that's kind of like number one. Healthy relationships in my personal life is definitely something else I would be most proud of. Having a healthy partnership with Sam, right? I don't have kids, so that's not an easy answer, but maybe the the folks that I have mentored along the way, maintaining and having strong, healthy relationships with the folks I've mentored along the way, and that have entered into kind of that. It's not really a parent-child relationship, but it's more like there's a mentor relationship, but there's also just a peer relationship. So having really strong relationships with the folks who are carrying on, if you will, the legacy of the work I've done.
Yeah. Anything in there that feels like it feels like there's a lot of juice in there. And I also feel, Debilyn, like, oh, you're on your way already. But is there anything you want to click into?
I think the one thing that I haven't thought about is, or touched on necessarily, is my relationship with myself and where I'm at with my spiritual growth.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be funny and just say, well, I actually have a thriving garden and I'll be really proud of being able to grow plants. In naming and claiming it realm, I'll just make it so, because right now that's so far from the truth. Would require a lot more study on my part on how plants work, and that hasn't been something I'm keyed into. And on my spiritual self and my spiritual journey, I think, what am I most proud of at 71? I think that I'm still meditating. I think that in and of itself might be a little victory. And that I've deepened my spiritual practice, and perhaps I would love to be walking around loving awareness. That's just the state of being that I live in. That's an awesome future to be there.
Yeah.
Makes all the other things just really easy.
I know. At least that's my impression, but it
may or may not be true. I don't know.
Is there anything else in relationship with self? And I'm thinking about either ways you take care of yourself, or I don't know, honor other parts of you that haven't been named, or sort of the internal relationship of or thought pattern. Well, if you're loving awareness, maybe you answered that. But anything else that comes up?
I mean, one of my current goals here at 61 is to be more validating of other people. Because I've become aware in the last several years how much, when somebody presents an idea to me, that I either want to improve it, correct it, or knock it down. And I don't often voice it, it's just thought in my head.
Yeah.
I really want my first impulse to be to validate their idea or their energy or their thought, their intention.
Yeah. And I hear a lot of expertise in your reaction, so to use it to help them.
Right. It's not that
or to coach them.
Exactly. It's not that the expertise goes away, but the first impulse, I want my first impulse to be to validate their intention.
Yeah.
And their idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So nurturing. I think so that's one thing I'd like to be proud of, is to be a nurturing presence in the lives of others.
I feel like you named that, but I love that word, nurturing, because we're talking about your mentee relationships and peers. There is so much nurturing in that, but I love that word. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is this feeling to talk about?
Thanks for pulling that out of me, Steph. It's awesome. Yeah. This is why it's so good to have somebody listen.
Yeah, totally. It makes me take it more seriously if I'm being witnessed versus doing it on my own.
Yeah.
If you observe yourself going through a typical day, what does that look like? What does your future self do?
So I get up in the morning, and you have to let the dogs out because they have to go out. So that comes first before everything else, and brushing my teeth and all the normal human needs that happen as well. And I think right after that, though, I go into, 1 or 2 hours of meditation and self-care, reflection time. Right. I get about an hour now. So tacking on an additional hour to have 2 hours that is just focused on taking care of myself and meditating, is how I start my day. And then there's some coffee and some breakfast and maybe little like a little look at, if you will, where the world is today, but not the frantic like, oh my God, who emailed me at 11 o'clock last night,
Yeah.
kind of franticism that happens sometimes. So really just being kind of easing into the day. And then I think I spend most of the morning doing expression work. So that could be, writing, podcasting, deep conversations of fleshing out ideas, helping, maybe helping others flesh out their ideas, planting some seeds, because that's a lot of the work I do now is planting seeds of thought with other people to then fertilize and water and make it their own. And so the morning passes pretty quickly in that kind of timeless place of creation, of being creative. And then for lunch, I go and I have lunch with somebody. When I was younger, I used to, and I work from home, and one of my anti-loneliness strategies was, I called it it's the lunch strategy. And I would have lunch with different friends several times a week.
Yeah.
So I go to lunch with a friend and we get to do all the, the women chatter,
Yes.
the hen talk, or whatever the men call it, the hens gathering.
And I imagine that really ties into that sense of community and neighborliness. Not to limit you, but there are people that you like and are excited to catch up with.
Exactly.
Locally. Yeah.
Which is the other reason to also make sure that I'm near a suburban area, but not so remote, because that makes that
Yes.
easier to do. And then after lunch, there's a possibility of a nap. And it I may or may not take the nap, but it's definitely more quiet time.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, even now, sometimes I just go and lay down for half an hour and read a book or something just to rest.
Yeah.
And give myself that space. And so there's some spaciousness. And then there's some more production-oriented stuff for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon after resting, after the siesta. I think siestas are so cool.
Yes.
And those are the areas, where I take care of personal errands, personal business, any lingering work production that needs to happen. And yeah, and then at 6 o'clock I stop. And that's when Sam and I start to spend our evening together. And the evening is all about, prepping dinner together and having our cocktail hour or happy hour, whatever it is at that time. It may or may not involve alcohol. And then prepping dinner, enjoying dinner together with a nice conversation. And then relaxing together for the rest of the evening, whether that's, just watching some TV or having a nice conversation, occasionally, probably 2 or 3 times a month, we'll have some friends over for dinner. So that'll be another touch point for community.
Yeah.
And then at the ripe old hour of 9 or 10 o'clock, I go to bed, and so I have the whole nighttime routine that has becomes part of the, touching base with the dogs and prepping myself for bed and being grateful, actually having a gratitude practice, I think, at that point in time, and reflecting the day so that I can sleep with an easy mind of knowing that all is good, right? That practicing equanimity in that way before I go to bed. So that's my typical day.
This sounds lovely. How's it feeling, Debilyn?
It feels really good. I mean, I'm really honoring my introversion in that typical day, because people think I'm an extrovert, but I'm really not.
I appreciate, first of all, I had no idea he was an extrovert, but I appreciate the honoring of the introvert, but also the need for connection.
Yeah. But it's not like loud, boisterous party connection. It's targeted one-on-one, deep conversations,
Yes.
I've always been bored with small talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I love that. Maybe you've said this actually, but tell me if something new comes up. As you step into your older self in the future, how do you feel most of the time? How do you feel?
Yeah, so I touched on it, but to speak to it more specifically. So in the walking around as loving awareness and being connected to people in this kind of nurturing way, I think I feel expansive most of the time, where I have space so that I can be generous with giving that space to others who need it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something where in the kind of hustle and bustle work world right now, not many people have that
Totally.
feeling of expansiveness right now.
Yep. Yeah.
And I want to live there.
Yeah. You let me know how to get there.
Okay, deal.
Get back to that one.
If I figure it out,
Yes.
but or just end up there, I'll let you know how what my
Yeah.
path was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think how I feel most of the time is expansive, and then that loving awareness kind of comes
Yeah.
naturally, is more easily accessed
Yeah.
to be that loving awareness, if there's a space of expansiveness. And so there's secure and content comes to mind, as well as how I feel most of the time, because there's not a
Mm-hmm.
financial worry
Mm-hmm.
in this ideal future of mine. Like that's just
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds good. And you also had mentioned gratitude. So I imagine,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's sort of the outcome, but also a feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So appreciative. I would
Yeah.
quantify the feeling as being appreciative of what I have,
Yeah. Mm.
and of life itself, actually.
Yeah.
Appreciative of life itself.
Yeah. Yeah. What a beautiful thing to feel at any age, but particularly as we get older.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and as you witness this preferred life, what are the 3 to 5 priority values? What values come up?
So I think peace, like or equanimity, to use our Buddhist language,
Mm-hmm.
equanimity comes up as a kind of value to live by. Everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's okay all the time. I think love and caring, nurturing, we've talked about a little bit. And so the values are, and there's just, to me, there's just this deep sense of humanity, like this acceptance of our shared humanity
Mm-hmm.
as a value. So the humanitarian values,
Mm-hmm.
like we all deserve a dignified life, so
Mm-hmm.
dignity might be in there.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking notes, but that's just out of habit.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
But
I actually tell people in this part of the interview, this is an arbitrary number, so you know, we asked for 3 to 5, but
yeah, I love that. Okay, peace, equanimity, love, nurturing, dignified life, shared humanity. How's that sound? Anything missing?
God, that just sounds like ice cream. Like yum yum, I just want to eat it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think if there's anything I'm missing in there, I mean, gratitude should be in there as well. That's
Mhm.
kind of underlying a lot of that.
Yeah. There's definitely a big theme, it feels to me like around community, but I don't
Hmm.
know that it could also be a byproduct of all of the values you named.
Yeah, yeah, I think to me, those are the values that I live by, and the values, if you will, of the communities in which I'm a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is Peter,
hi, Peter.
the 11-year-old kitty cat.
Hey. And looking around at the community in which you live, what does the community include or provide for you to thrive? I like this question for you. How are
This
you
is,
nurtured by the community?
yeah. Well, and this is the Meta We Flip
Yeah.
to help people identify what their community needs to include so that their preferred future is possible.
Mm,
And then that becomes the foundation for community building to
yeah.
put everybody's together. Sorry, went into background mode. What does my community need to include? So it needs to include like third spaces, if you will, so places for
Hmm.
people to gather
Hmm.
and meet and rub up against each other. So there needs to
Hmm.
be some sort of, whether that's coffee shops or restaurants or parks. Hi, sweetie. Dog parks.
Hmm.
Um, so third spaces, I think, are really important. Um, I'm still in this future for myself on that suburban rural fringe. I'm still seeing personal transportation being essential,
Mm,
but
hmm.
it could be that the personal transportation infrastructure supports like some sort of shared vehicle use,
Mm, hmm.
right? So that not everybody and have it be something that's not environmentally harmful.
Yeah.
So maybe, uh, a shared,
Driving electric cards.
yeah, like the zip cars that they have today that are all electric in a lot that's,
Yeah.
fairly conveniently located so we can drive our golf carts out there or whatever. And then
Yeah.
take whatever community cars available to do our errands, things like that. So I see from a transportation standpoint, I see like there's something there because the suburban rural fringe isn't where you have the metros and the bus stops, right?
Right. Right.
But figuring out some sort of easy transportation that's not
just a gas-powered car.
I love that.
I think the other thing that the community needs to include or provide is an easy way to exchange goods and services and food. So if I'm growing lots of vegetables in my garden and I have too many or I don't want to can them, there is an easy way to work through a community board or app or something to exchange and say like, hey, I've got 40 pounds of tomatoes, and somebody says, hey, I'll can those for you and I'll give you 20 back. Right? Something like that.
I love that.
It would be awesome. Like I grow them,
Totally.
you can them, because canning is really hard work, in my opinion. And what else does the community include or provide? I think healthcare, accessible and affordable healthcare. At 71, I'll probably need more than I need today. So
Yeah.
having humanitarian centered or focused doctors and dentists and all the
Yeah.
specialist things. So have it not be 2 hours away.
Right.
Which I know a lot of rural America right now doesn't have adequate healthcare.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's, some of what would be really nice to have
Yeah.
in that community for me to include or provide. And then, just access to healthy foods. So I'm also envisioning 10 years from now that I will be vegetarian all the time, instead of just when Sam's away. Because it's just too hard. Right? Mr. Meat Eater is too hard.
But I have the opposite. My partner's a vegetarian. So when he goes away, I'm like, maybe I'll eat a little meat.
Yep. And then, and so I think having some sort of easy way to gain,
Yeah.
food and vegetarian, I think is so. And then, ways to have fun, whether it's street festivals in the suburbs or some type of community events where people can gather.
Yeah. Yeah.
And somebody else to organize them, because I'd hate organizing those things. So I just want to show up.
Yeah. You organize plenty of other things.
I do. And yeah, somebody else can do the events.
Yeah.
But my community needs to have events so that we can touch base and,
Yeah.
and when I feel like right now, I don't go to events right now because I don't have that expansive feeling. I feel battered by most of my day-to-day life. And so when I'm not working, I just want to stay home and be safe. Right. It's just so in my preferred future, in my preferred life, I actually have expansiveness to want to go to things like that.
Yes.
Because,
And also the introvert time, so that then there'll be more seeking.
so that I know that there's, instead of having to carve out introvert time.
Yeah.
Which is what I do now.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. All right.
Exciting. Okay.
I think that one's done. I think I'm done with that one.
Okay. Our trip to the future is nearly over. So take a look around, Debilyn. And if you want to close eyes, you're welcome to.
Okay.
There's this beautiful community waiting for you in the Pacific Northwest that has really fun festivals that somebody else organizes. And here
with really good food.
With really good vegetarian food.
Yes. Really good. And then, and friends that come over for dinner on occasion, or we go to their house, maybe a weekly game night, something like that, but sense of belonging.
Yeah, sense of belonging, many different touch points, people you want to have lunch with. And this lovely home and land and garden. And
with helpers nearby.
With helpers nearby, yep. You don't have to do all the gardening and tending.
Well, I'm just imagining at 71, I'm not going to want to do all the heavy lifting stuff.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to do it now, but I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Just feeling that sense of expansive energy, expansive self. You feel secure and content, generous, appreciative, and both nurtured and nurturing. And take a look around this life, saving the image, your feelings, values.
Feels pretty good.
Nice. Okay. Final question then, as you consider your life, your current life today, is there anything you can do now to co-create or build the community you need for your future? Is there an action or two that comes to mind?
And this is save up a bunch of money so we can actually buy the place in the Pacific Northwest. That's actually in the works already. So we're starting to save.
Nice.
And I think the other thing is to just stay connected, because Sam and I have both lived in the Pacific Northwest before, to just make sure we stay connected to some of our friends there. Not that we can't make new ones, but
Yeah,
to not land, just as not starting over, but
totally.
starting
And also
anew.
sussing out maybe exactly where you might want
Right.
to land. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's part of what we're doing. And then, yes, and then I think as we get closer, so I think it's a little too early now, but as we get closer, maybe 5 or 6 years from now, it'll be like starting to go back and visit
Yeah,
those areas, and
yeah,
make more concerted efforts to drop in and connect to see what feels right, and where
yeah.
the communities exist already and where they need to be built.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, that might be enough, but the other question coming up for me is, so there's this vision in the sense of place, and then there's this vision of lifestyle. Is there anything that you want to start building now, that might fit in with your current life? I don't have anything specific. I'm thinking,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
the introvert time, the gratitude
yeah,
practice, anything.
the tension that I'm experiencing now that I haven't kind of worked through yet
Hmm.
is this need to earn a living, which takes up a lot of time and forces me to be more extroverted than
Hmm.
than I necessarily want to be. And then the need for not just the introversion time, but the creativity time.
Hmm.
And so I think, finding a way to, get up earlier to be so I can have time to be creative before the work
Hmm.
day starts. Those are the kind of things I could do to kind of prep my spirit, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. Easier said than done, I'm sure. You're also
Sleep,
short on
sleep
sleep.
calls, sleep
Yeah,
calls, because I also need sleep. I get really
totally.
cranky without sleep.
Yes. Yeah. How's this all feeling?
Yeah, so it feels really good. Wow. I'm glad we recorded it so that I can watch it again
Yeah,
and hear what I said, get a transcript actually, and turn that
totally.
turn that into a written story somehow. Maybe it'll be in my
Yeah, or
blog
in
tomorrow.
an image maybe. I don't know that
Hmm.
because the Pacific Northwest is so like lush and green and moist. I don't know, it just has a very specific image to me.
It does, and I'm hopeful that with climate change, it's going to remain that way, because it may
Yeah,
not.
yeah, totally. That's true.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of forest fires out there right now,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
they burn year round anymore. They're not just 2 months a year.
right. Yeah,
So rain. So anyway, yeah. So I don't know how that, but I want to live in that type of environment,
right.
and the northern rainforest environment.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Debbie anything that surprised you? Because it sounds like some of this is like, oh, it's already in the works or in your head. Is there anything that felt like, oh, I didn't really know that was part of my vision? Or
yeah.
did
I
it feel more
think
like
that idea of expansiveness, that was new to me.
yeah,
Like I hadn't identified that before
yeah,
as a feeling state, if you will,
mm-hmm,
that to foster and focus on, and build into my life now.
yeah,
Because if you get surprised with expansiveness, it can often turn into addiction or loneliness or
right,
other things to fill up the void. It could be
right.
void feeling, and I don't want void. I want expansive.
Yes, yeah. I'm just thinking about the difference.
Mm,
There's something about um to stay expansive, it feels like it needs to really be heart connected and like web interbeing connected,
yes,
versus I
absolutely.
feel like cold emptiness. Yeah,
Right. Like
yeah.
lonely, like alone
Hold on.
emptiness.
Yeah, right,
You know.
right.
Thank you so much for listening. And the word that kept landing with me in this interview, and as I've watched it a couple of times since, is expansive. Expansive is not empty and it's not a void. It's having enough space to be generous. And that's my clue for what I want to practice now: presence, gratitude, and neighborliness in small daily ways. And that all takes expansiveness in my mood and in my daily life. So I want to make that easy for you too. And so we have put the exact same visioning questions from this episode into a simple printable guide. And it's great for journaling or for sharing it with your friends and family. And you can download it from the link in the show notes or at JediFuture.com. So here's two next steps: name it and claim it. Say one dream out loud as if it's already in motion. And second, do the next kind thing, one small action in the next 24 hours that grows community where you live. Because that's how we build the future we want. One person, one family, one neighborhood at a time. So if this resonated for you, please share your vision with us and hop on our email list at terrifiednation.com. Your ratings and reviews help others to find the show so we can build with a larger community. And our paid Substack subscriptions keep this work going. I'm Debilyn Molineaux, and I thank you for listening and for practicing the future with me. Join me next time.
That's Terrified Nation, a podcast from American Future. If this episode moved you, please help others find it. Leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. For early access to new episodes, become a paid subscriber at terrifiednation.com. Join us next time.